It is Monday, April 28th, and President Trump executes the most epic troll yet. MSNBC and CNN both losing it. Wait till you see this. Also, Trump's economic team ramping up the pressure on China, letting it be known we have an escalation ladder in our back pocket, a ladder we can use if and when we need to, but cheating, stealing, ripping off the American people, that's over. And the Trump administration announcing they are going to war on sanctuary cities. Multiple new EOs being signed today, increasing federal powers to gain control of these criminal sanctuaries. We'll show you what's happening and more stories as well from around the country. But before we get started, thank you for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps out the channel. And consider subscribing so you don't miss these regular updates.
Today, we kick off 100-day week with a focus on the president's historic effort to secure our southern border. Later this afternoon, President Trump will sign an executive order on law and order and another executive order on sanctuary cities. The first EO will strengthen and unleash America's law enforcement to pursue criminals and protect innocent citizens. The second EO is centered around protecting American communities from criminal aliens, and it will direct the Attorney General and Secretary of Homeland Security to publish a list of state and local jurisdictions that obstruct the enforcement of federal immigration laws. After these are signed, the president will have signed more than 140 executive orders already, rapidly approaching the total number signed by the Biden administration over the course of 4 years in office.
Trump administration charging full steam ahead in their effort to secure this country and get her running back in the right direction in just 98 days. That's how many days Trump's been back in the Oval, 98 days. And today, he'll be signing his 140th executive order, exceeding the total number of EOs Biden signed during his entire 4 years in office. Trump's wielding the power vested in him. Unlike the last, 10 or so presidents, Trump's not just a figurehead, but he's actually running the country, delivering on his promises, and the media doing everything they can to keep that message from getting out. This morning, members of the press assigned to cover the White House arriving to work to find 100-yard signs lining the driveway of the White House. 100 signs, each with a name and photo of an illegal alien criminal who has been captured, arrested, and deported from this country. Each of these people accused of some of the most heinous acts possible. The media losing their minds over this, especially due to the fact of where these signs happen to be positioned, directly behind where TV correspondents are assigned to do their live shots throughout the day, which means each time CNN or MSNBC or whoever record at the White House, you'll see these signs in the background. Trolling at its finest. You refuse to cover our progress on tackling violent crime and immigration? Well, we'll make you. Watch MSNBC melt down over this. Happy Monday. Roll the tape.
White House has put up about 100 posters of what they say are unauthorized immigrants who have been arrested for violent crimes. You can see them there. They put them up on the driveway of the White House. If you look here, that's the West Wing just at the forefront, the executive mansion itself to the left. But what's particularly noteworthy about this location is it is right directly behind the positions where TV correspondents do their hits from the White House lawn. So therefore, no matter what network you're on, that includes MSNBC, if you're doing a hit from the White House right now, those pictures will be behind you. The White House doing a briefing in about a half hour about what they're doing here. Maria, your response to this image.
So I have to say, one of the biggest challenges that we have with the deportations that we know of so far, for example, with Kilmer Abrego Garcia, we don't know if they've had due process. We don't know if, in fact, these individuals do have a rap sheet. So I would encourage those individuals that have that as a backshot to blur those people out.
Meanwhile, at the White House press briefing this morning, Carolyn Levitt announcing big news for what this week has in store. This week marks Trump's 100-day mark, and they're pushing full steam ahead, declaring war on sanctuary cities. Trump's already sealed the southern border. In fact, since April 1st of this month, only 9 illegal aliens were released into the country. 9. That's it. Just 9 people. In April of last year, 184,000 were released into the interior of the country. 9 people versus 184,000 people. That's like a 99.9999% decrease, which means the Trump administration with Border Patrol and the U.S. military have accomplished complete operational control over the southern border, which is the first part of Trump's promise. The second part is their mass deportation agenda, which they're rolling out today. Watch.
We are in the beginning stages of carrying out the largest deportation campaign in American history. Over this past weekend, it was announced that through Operation Tidal Wave, a joint effort between ICE Miami and Florida law enforcement agencies, nearly 800 illegal aliens were arrested during the first 4 days alone. Among those arrested were a Colombian murderer, alleged MS-13 and 18th Street gang members, and a Russian with a red notice for manslaughter. And on the other side of the country, in the early Sunday morning hours, DOJ and DHS together launched a joint raid of an illegal alien underground nightclub used by Tren de Aragua in Colorado Springs, Colorado. DHS took more than 100 illegal aliens into custody, and many drugs and weapons were also seized. Operation Tidal Wave is a preview of what is to come around this country. Large-scale operations that employ our state and local enforcement partners to get criminal illegal aliens off our streets.
Now, in order to do this, they need to deal with these left-wing sanctuary states and cities who are harboring and shielding millions of illegal aliens, many of whom are dangerous criminals. That's what today is about. And the media, of course, deciding not to ask questions about how they're going to be doing this or what the time frame looks like or how they'll work with these left-wing state governments to get all this done. Instead, we have fake news reporters who decide to use their 2 questions at the press briefing to ask why Mexico hasn't paid for the wall yet. Stupid questions like that. That's the type of coverage we get from corporate media. Well, Tom Homan wasn't having it. Watch him step in, setting the record straight about this. Watch.
So he's clear that Mexico is not going to pay for it? Is that what you're saying?
Let's address that. Trump said Mexico won't pay for the wall. They have in a roundabout way, have they not? Putting 10,000 military on the northern and southern border, taking the action they did remain in Mexico. They didn't have to do that. They're doing it. Putting military on the southern border. Have moved illegal immigration to a record low. We're saving millions of dollars every day on detention, transportation, removal proceedings. We've more than made up for the cost of that wall because of the actions of Mexico. So is Mexico helping build that wall? Yeah, because we're saving so much money, millions of dollars a day, that we can afford to build that wall. So actually, yes, they're helping to build a wall.
In another story, the Attorney General, A.G. Pam Bondi, went on Fox News over a month ago in mid-March and announced she'd received a truckload of newly uncovered Epstein files that were being held at the Southern District of New York, that her team and an entire crew of FBI agents sent over by Kash Patel were now reviewing these new files and that they will all be released ASAP. Well, again, that was over a month ago, and it's been quiet, very quiet on this front. All the focus has been on targeting foreign illegal alien gangs like Tren de Aragua and MS-13, which is good, don't get me wrong, but we were promised full transparency on these cases. At this morning's press briefing, DC Drano was in attendance, and he asked Karen Levitt about this. What is taking so long? Why haven't we heard anything new about this? When will we see the files? Watch.
My question is about the Epstein Files. And a couple months ago, the DOJ released what they called Phase 1 of the Epstein Files, and they announced that a lot of those files, the remaining files, probably the bulk of the files, are actually in the New York field office. They requested that they be returned the day after, and some legacy media reports show that not only were those files returned to the DOJ, but that hundreds of FBI agents are going through them day after day and getting them ready for public release. Do you have any updates from the DOJ or the FBI on when those files are expected to be released, and also when we might start seeing some arrests of the client list?
Sure. I can assure you that the Attorney General and her team at the Department of Justice are working on this diligently. For a specific timeline, I'd have to check in with them, and we can certainly do that for you, Rogan, in the effort of transparency. But I will tell you,
The Attorney General is a bulldog. She is someone you want on your team. And when she wants to get something done, she gets it done. I've seen her do it in various instances already in her time as Attorney General. And when she makes a promise, she keeps it. So I think I don't have a specific timeline on you for that, but I do know that they're working on it over there.
In another story, Trump's economic team continuing to move forward in negotiations with dozens of countries, getting close on wrapping up deals with India and Japan. But regarding China, China is one country that Trump's planning to go all the way on once and for all. Ramping up the pressure this morning on China, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says it's up to China to de-escalate it. They want us to drop our tariffs, stop crafting deals with other countries that ice China out. They need to get serious. We're no longer accepting cheating, stealing, ripping off the American people. Bessent warning the Chinese, letting it be known he has an escalatory ladder in his back pocket that he's not afraid to use. Roll the tape.
Would you just take a complete decoupling with China off the table right now, since we know global trade has benefited the globe? We don't want zero global trade. But doesn't this indicate what's at stake here?
Well, Joe, I think this makes my point that the Chinese, they are exempting all these goods, tells me that they want a de-escalation. And what we haven't done is escalate by embargoing those goods or putting a trade ban on those goods, which we could, if we needed to gain more leverage. We haven't done it. They've actually given us a list of what comes from the U.S. that is valuable to them. And, I can tell you, I do have an escalation ladder in my back pocket, and we're very anxious not to have to use it.
So far, over 20 countries have come to the U.S. economic team with potential deals, with offers to get these tariffs dropped, to come to some sort of zero-for-zero trade arrangement. We'll see what happens. All right, that wraps up this episode. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.